What's good, y'all? It's your boy HB, final round. Coming to you with the final blueprint for Alexander Usyk versus Anthony Joshua. Let's get into it. So, straight up, you guys, this fight's going to be dictated by the way Anthony Joshua approaches it. It's going to determine the winner. Now, I believe, straight up, Anthony Joshua needs to go in there, be the bigger man, use your size advantage, use your range, put pressure, whether that be through angles or cutting off the ring in the traditional way, right? Doesn't matter. But regardless, if you're Anthony Joshua, put pressure, okay? Try to get Alexander Usyk out within the first 6 rounds. Be the bigger man. You're the head dog of the heavyweight division. Prove that. He's a cruiserweight. Make that known. But the only way you're going to do that is if you put that pressure on your opponent and look to get him out of there. We know Alexander Usyk does tend to start slow. Why? Because he's downloading. He's figuring out. He's getting your timing down. And then as the fight goes on, he starts to pour it on you when he finds those holes in your game and he exposes those weaknesses. Don't give Alexander Usyk that opportunity. You know, force his hand, limit his options. You know, so if I'm Anthony Joshua, how can I put pressure? What are the ways I can put pressure? Well, you have the traditional way of putting pressure, the traditional sense, right? We can reference fighters like Julio Cesar Chavez, or a current example would be Triple G, right? Triple G, the Mike Myers of boxing. That's what I call him, because you can hit that man with the axe and he's still gonna walk you down and put pressure. Or you can do it with angles, right? We can reference fighters like Vasily Lomachenko or Floyd Mayweather. I'm talking about Pretty Boy Floyd Mayweather. And a lot of y'all forgot about Pretty Boy Floyd Mayweather. He was a pressure fighter, believe it or not. Like I said, not like Julio Cesar Chavez, but let's talk about putting pressure with angles. So, you know, and even, let's note this, even Alexander Usyk is somewhat of a pressure fighter as the fight goes on with angles. Because when Alexander Usyk gets in the rhythm, he gets in the flow, he kind of figures you out. He starts to pour it on you, okay? He starts to pour it on you. He lets his hands go, he's throwing punches and bunches, and he's making you miss all the while. And that's what I mean, putting pressure with angles. It's like you're there, but you're not there. You know, Vasily Lomachenko, for instance, you know, he's constantly looking for the fight. He's looking to engage. He's at your feet, but it's like he's not there to hit because he understands positioning and angles. You know, he's not a back-footed fighter. He's not kind of molding, you know, to what you're doing. He's coming for you, but he's doing it tactically, and he's using angles. So, you know, you watch Vasily Lomachenko, it's constant feinting, you know, probing with the lead hand, throwing punches off the center line, you know, making you miss, but he's always staying within range, always looking to counter you, always in position. You know, not letting you breathe, constantly making you fight, but doing it in a way to where, you know, he's gonna hit you and he's gonna make you miss. And believe it or not, Mayweather used to be like that. Pretty Boy Floyd, to be specific, early on in his career, he would constantly come at you, you know, hit you, make you miss, utilize angles, and you couldn't touch the guy. And he wouldn't even let you breathe. He wouldn't let you take a break because he would constantly be ready to engage, making you fight, right? And then you have the traditional way of putting pressure, like Julio Cesar Chavez or Triple G, right? First off, they cut off the ring, right? If my opponent's gonna move to the right, what do? I'll step out to the right, mirror him. If my opponent's gonna go to the left, I'm gonna move laterally with him. If my opponent wants to move back, I move forward. Now, I'm not being reckless and throwing punches and running in without no consideration. No. I move forward with my jab. I move forward by half stepping, carefully working my way in, right? So if you move forward, okay, I'm coming in, boom. That's another thing. If you're gonna be a traditional type of pressure fighter, you better have a jab. You better have a good, stiff, solid jab. Boom, sticking it out there like Triple G. It's a freaking pole, man. He's fencing with a pole. Boom, you know, disrupting your timing, your rhythm, controlling you with that jab. If you're gonna put pressure in the traditional sense, you better have a good, strong jab. you better be active with it. Go look at Triple G's punch stats with his jab, especially like against David Lemieux or even Canelo. Lots of jabs. Another thing is, you know, when you get, if you're a pressure fighter in the traditional sense, or you're going to utilize that pressure in the traditional sense, back your opponent up to the ropes in the corner, and that's when you want to attack. Let your hands go. Because, right, that's what you want. You want to engage. You want to make this person fight, but they don't want to fight. They want to keep moving. They want to stay on the outside. They want to stick and go, stick and go, stick and go. You know, if you're a back-footed fighter, you know, you want to stick and go. Boom, boom, get out. You know, move to a different, reposition. You know, stick your jab out there. Boom. You know, they don't want to sit here in the pocket and engage with you. That's why when you're a pressure fighter, you got to trap your opponent with his back to the corner or the ropes, right? Because if you are going to decide you don't want to engage with me in the pocket, you're going to have to make a decision. You're either going to have to go left, right, or you are going to have to come towards me, right? Try to clinch up and get a break. Or you can sit with your back to the ropes in the corner and you're going to engage with me. And that's when I can let my hands go, work my combinations, and make the fight dirty. If your back is to the ropes in the corner and you're going to decide to go left, well, guess what? I have a right hook waiting for you. If you're going to decide to go left, well, guess what? I have a left hook waiting for you. Take that with you on your way out. And I'm going to slow you down as the fight goes. Another important aspect of pressure fighting is cutting your opponent down from the body, chopping him down, taking his best asset away from him, his legs, so he can't move. And you make him sit and you make him engage with you. You have to have a body attack. Now, once again, because your opponent doesn't want to engage with you, every time you're at the center of the ring and you're backing them up to the corner of the ropes, sometimes you're going to have to pot shot to the body. Because you can't sit there and rip combinations when your opponent is constantly moving. So what do? You pot shot, you shoot the jab, you know, you shoot across. And then once again, once you get them into a corner, you get them to the ropes, that's when you can kind of let your combinations to the body go. Or you can once again pot shot with a very powerful punch as they move out to your right, or a left hook to the body as they move out to the left. Now, for Anthony Joshua, I think he needs to do a cross between the two, right? He needs to do a cross between putting pressure traditionally and putting pressure with angles. Okay, so the one thing with Anthony Joshua is scrap going to the body. Scrap being a combination puncher to the body. Even though it's important for a traditional pressure fighter to constantly have a barrage of attacks to the body, right? I don't think that would be a smart thing for him to do. Why? Because in order to go to the body consistently, you have to lower your level so you can get down there and get working. You know, you have to lower your level, get down there, and get your work in. Anthony Joshua is not going to attack the body with constant hooks. The way he's going to do it is either with his jab or he's going to do it with his cross, pot-shotting his opponent. And good enough, because he's a heavyweight, he's powerful, he's strong, he has phenomenal timing. So that's all he needs. Now, for me, I'm not crazy about Anthony Joshua's jab to the body. I'm not. He tends to kind of shoot it down at an angle. And I don't want to throw a jab like that to the body. I want to shoot a jab, lower my level, you know, stick it in there. All right, not shoot down at it where I'm kind of catching the elbows or it's getting blocked and I'm exposing myself, or I'm reaching, putting my chin over my toes and getting caught with shots. Because if Anthony Joshua is going to lower his level down to get to the body, then, you know, he's going to bring himself down to Usyk's level, taking away your size advantage. So if I'm Anthony Joshua, scrap hooks to the body. I don't think he's going to do that anyways. I wouldn't necessarily focus on throwing a jab to the body, maybe one here and there. But this right hand is going to be his key to slow Usyk down. If you're not going to be able to get him out within 6 rounds, then you need to throw this cross constantly to the body, slowing Usyk down, taking away his legs from him, and then maybe later on in the fight, you can pour it on him. But for me, if I'm Anthony Joshua, I'm not looking to drag this out. I'm looking to put pressure. So how should Anthony Joshua do that with kind of combining, angles? Not necessarily always cutting off the ring. I want him to kind of take the approach he did with Martin, right? Another southpaw he went up against. He played it perfectly. At times he would cut off the ring and mirror his opponent. Then at times he would kind of still dominate the center of the ring and just wait for Martin to commit to a punch, and he would counter him as he's coming in. I think it needs to be the same thing. Just a little bit more pressure. Cut off the ring at times, but then, maybe put pressure just with angles. Attack the body, right? Do it consistently, but just with your right cross, with pot shots. You're a big, powerful heavyweight. One cross to the body can be, can equal multiple hooks to the body compared to like a lighter weight class of a fighter, right? Another thing is, use your jab, but since you're facing a southpaw, it's very hard to align your jab perfectly to land on your opponent. So just paw with it if you're Anthony Joshua. Put most of your weight on your back foot, your rear leg, right? Enclose the distance, paw with that lead hand. Put pressure. Maybe you want to cut off the ring, or maybe you just want to fight at an angle. But if you want to limit Usyk's options, cut off the ring. Put most of your weight on that back foot. Paw with that lead hand. And every time you back Usyk up to the corner of the ropes, force his hand. Make him come to you. Limit his options so you know what to expect. Okay? Because the more you lay off of Usyk, the more he's gonna work, man. He's gonna be calculated. He's gonna give you different looks. He's gonna confuse you. He's gonna paw with his jab. He's gonna angle off. He's gonna step out to the left. He's constantly gonna be probing, calculating, draining you for the later rounds, and keeping you guessing. And he's gonna start picking you apart and then pour it on you. Don't let him do that. Don't let him do that. Put the pressure on him. Force his hand. Limit his options. Make him come to you. And then boom, use that size, height, and range and power and timing to punish him and get him the fuck out of there. And once again, how do you do that? Most of your weight should be on your back foot. Close the distance. Cut off the ring. If Usyk wants to pivot out to the left, time him with the right hand. Boom. Whether you go to the body, whether you go to the head. If Usyk wants to go to the right, he's running into your power hand, right? Probe. Okay, he's moving out to the right. Shoot the right hand. If Usyk wants to come forward and engage, guess what? Anthony Joshua has his beautiful right uppercut. Go check out that Pulev fight. Has a beautiful uppercut. So you force Usyk back to the corner of the ropes. He has three options. Move left, move right, or come close and engage, or try and clinch, whatever the case may be. If he comes close and engages, throw that right uppercut. If he closes the distance. If he wants to go out to your right, punish him with a right hand or a right hook. If he wants to go out to the left, this is where, here's two options Anthony Joshua will have available if Usyk wants to work his way out to Anthony Joshua's left and pivot out. Here's where the size comes into play. Usually, you have to be very careful, because what people don't know is that you don't need to be lead foot dominant all the time to land punches on a mirrored stance opponent, right? If you're orthodox, we're talking about a southpaw. You don't always have to be lead foot dominant if you understand the positioning and the timing of everything. And here's the beauty about being the bigger fighter, the more rangier fighter, and kind of staying behind your punches. You're staying behind your stance. You can expose a southpaw when he tries to be lead foot dominant. As he pivots out, you can keep your distance. That's why it's important to stay on that rear leg, because you're maximizing your range. And as he's pivoting it out, trying to get his lead foot to the outside of your lead foot, use that size and range and shoot your right hand, and you can expose their center line. That's the beauty of having a size advantage and range advantage against a southpaw, or vice versa if you're a southpaw against the orthodox fighter. You can keep your distance, even if your opponent gets his lead foot to the outside. Sit back, maximize your range, and punish him as he's trying to turn outside. But most importantly, what Anthony Joshua will have available to him, if Usyk decides to try and pivot out to the right, to Anthony Joshua's left, his left hook. His left hook is beautiful, man. That's one thing I will say about Anthony Joshua. He might not be the most deep fighter in terms of, setting up traps and, changing up his style, being a style bender, but he has phenomenal fundamentals and technique. That left hook he threw against Andrew Ruiz that sat him down, it was a thing of beauty. It was a tight short left hook, and boom, landed. That can be a huge weapon that Anthony Joshua utilizes in this fight for Usyk as he tries to pivot out to Anthony Joshua's left. Every time he pivots out, leave him with a present. Boom. Hit him with that left foot every time he wants to turn out and be lead foot dominant. Put the pressure if you're Anthony Joshua. Do not let this fight drag out. Do not fuck around with this man Usyk, because the longer you let it go, he's gonna figure you out. So once again, we're mixing a little bit of pressure with angles, and we're mixing a little bit of pressure with the traditional style of doing it. So if I'm Anthony Joshua, I'm coming in, most of my weight on the back foot, I'm probing with that lead hand. And here's another thing. Anthony Joshua can land his jab. Once again, if he understands positioning and he understands how to take full maximum advantage of his size and his range, he can step that lead foot on the inside of Usyk and sneak jabs to the head and land it clean, right? Because it's hard to be fighting a mirrored stance opponent and land your jab clean. That's why you see a lot of times they just probe. Two fighters that are mirroring each other, they just probe with the lead hands. You don't see them sometimes try and land the jab. But because Anthony Joshua is so much bigger, so much rangier, he can kind of get away with that, right? Because he can shoot that jab, put his lead foot on the inside of Usyk's lead foot, and sneak a jab. He can still be defensively responsible. He has that size and range to fence back and get away. Okay? Usyk won't be able to do that unless he's sneaky enough and he's quick enough and fast enough. The way he would have to do it is with feints, right? Feint, keep him guessing when you're coming in, sneak a lead hand to the inside and get out. But that's, I don't know, Usyk is quick, but I don't know if he's that quick. So let's recap. Anthony Joshua, put pressure, most of your weight on the back leg, probe with the lead hand, right? Sneak some jabs on the inside of Usyk. Force Usyk back, but be patient, probe with the lead hand, and force Usyk's hand. Make him come to you. Make him have to pay the fee for the toll. You don't need to constantly be active, if you're Anthony Joshua throwing combinations. This is all you need. Probe with the lead hand, maybe a feint here or two, back him up into the corner ropes, make him make a decision. Make him come to you, make him move to the right, or make him move to the left. If he comes to you, throw that iconic right uppercut and punish him. If he moves to the right, walk him into a right hand. We all know if you're not going to be lead foot dominant, you're lining yourself up with the power hand. If he moves to the left, okay, hook him. And because you're big and rangy, you can even expose him with the right, expose his center line with the right hand. Probe. Okay, you want to go out to my left? You want to be lead foot dominant? You want to take your lead foot and get on the outside of mine? Okay, I'm going to pivot to the inside and shoot that right hand. Pivot to the inside, shoot that right hand. And that's all Anthony Joshua needs to do, but he needs to keep. He needs to stay in front of Usyk. Okay? That's the keys to the fight. Limit his options, put pressure, don't let him think, suffocate him, punish him with right hands to the body, right hands to the head, with your phenomenal timing. And that's all you need to do if you're Joshua. It doesn't get much deeper than that. And that's the beauty for him. But if Usyk or Joshua wants to sit back and, you know, kind of half-step his way back and wait to counter Usyk as he comes in, I don't think that's going to do him favors in the later rounds. I don't think it's going to give him the ability to knock out Usyk as much as he would if he's putting pressure. Could Anthony Joshua get a KO with just, you know, kind of fighting off the back foot like he's been doing more so against Pulev and Andy Ruiz in the second fight? Sure. You know, you can kind of be patient and wait for Usyk to launch an attack and then boom, hit him with the right hand. Right? He can do that. It's possible he can get a knockout. But I think if you're going to play that kind of patient, calculated game, you're favoring Usyk's pace. Because Usyk's not just going to come in there recklessly, right? And he's going to understand, if I can get this sucker past 6 rounds, you're going to get a little bit more tired. And I'm going to keep on working you slowly over to where I can take over. I don't think that's going to favor Anthony Joshua. You know this guy can go 12 rounds. You know he can fight in a very calculated manner, set up traps, walk you into them, you know, take advantage of the opening. Why entertain that? So I think Usyk or Joshua is going to take more so of that approach, and this is why I'm having a hard time picking him in this fight, because I think he's going to sit back and wait. I think he's going to sit back and wait without applying pressure. He's going to try to counter Usyk as he comes in. Now, if Joshua does take that approach, at the very least, he's going to have to set up that right cross to the body. Because if he doesn't slow Usyk down in any sort of way, he's going to have his legs all night. He's going to box circles around Anthony Joshua. Now, if I'm Alexander Usyk, my goal is to get out of the first 6 rounds without getting knocked down. Constantly give looks. If Joshua's going to sit back and be patient and not apply pressure, okay, I'm gonna feint my way to the 6th round. Feint my way and probe with my lead hand for 6 rounds, right? Usyk right here. This is all I'm doing. Giving different looks, setting things up, constantly moving. You know, just by doing that, you're gonna drain Anthony Joshua when it gets to the later rounds. Just keeping it going, keeping him thinking, keeping it moving, giving different options, making him think. You know, keeping him guessing. And here's the one key punch for Usyk in this fight: left cross to the body. If I'm Usyk, all I'm doing, once again, feinting my way to the 6th round and pot shotting with my left cross to the body. All right? Okay, you're not going to apply pressure. You're going to give me all this real estate to work with, to give different looks and keep you guessing. Okay, cool. Okay, move around, feint. You know, probe with the head, probe with the lead hand. Boom, get in, get out. Not going to engage. Reset. Okay, move out, L step to the left. Boom, right here. Maybe land a jab or two. Boom, boom, boom. Land a few combos to the head. I'm in, I'm out. You're giving me plenty of space to work with. I can keep moving, keep you guessing. Then once you get past that 6th round, if I'm Usyk, that's when I'm going to start to let my hands go a little bit, because I know I'm deflating Anthony Joshua. There's not going to be much there. On top of that, we know how Anthony Joshua does when he gets hit to the body. Andy Ruiz only landed predominantly jabs to the body, and he was able to wear Anthony Joshua out. So imagine if Usyk's shooting that left cross to the body constantly and consistently for 6 rounds. Imagine that. He's going to get tired. And if Anthony Joshua doesn't match that body attack, he's going to be in trouble. So if I'm Usyk, you know, left cross to the body, that's all I'm thinking. Pot shot for 6 rounds. Boom. Giving different looks, changing it up, changing up the tempo. And then when that 6th round comes, when I get into the later rounds, now that's when I let my hands go. Working my angles, you know, letting those hooks go, going to the body, shooting my hands. Maybe I may sit in the pocket a little longer and take a little bit more risk, right? And the only difference that happens from 6 to 12 is that I'm letting my hands fly a little bit more. I'm hanging around in the pocket a little bit more. I'm willing to take a little bit more shots from Anthony Joshua because he's deflated at that point. And maybe I can get a TKO, or maybe I can take it to the scorecards. That is the final blueprint. If I'm Anthony Joshua, be the bigger man. Put pressure, whether it be with angles or whether it be by cutting off the ring. You know, you have a great hook to punish him as he goes and pivots out to the left. You have a great cross with phenomenal timing to punish him up and down stairs. And to make him to walk him into punches. Put pressure, limit his options, and punish him as he comes in when you force those options. For Usyk, box. Move around, constantly move around. Feint, probe with the lead hand. Pot shot with the left cross to get a little bit of respect. Angle out to the left, angle out to the right. You know, me, I wouldn't necessarily want to get caught up in a clinch with Anthony Joshua, especially with that right uppercut. But, you know, feint your way off the ropes to create a little space so you can move around. Then you get to that 6 to 12 round range. Okay, that's when I let my hands go a little bit more. You know, work those angles, step off every time you throw in combinations. You know, from left to right. And then maybe I hang out in the pocket a little bit more and throw some uppercuts and hooks. And that is what it is, you guys. So tell me what you think. Like the video, subscribe to my channel, comment below. Tell me what you think the final blueprint is. Get at me. It's your boy HB, final round. Let's get it going.